Some doors were built to stay closed. Across North America, from quiet American suburbs to the isolated Canadian countryside, ordinary people are discovering something terrifying hidden inside their homes. I'm about to share 2 stories from the United States and Canada that will make you check every wall in your house tonight. If you survive till the end, subscribe to Nightloft for more real horror from across the USA and Canada. This is North American terror at its darkest. Let's begin.
My name is Claire. I thought I knew every shadow in my childhood home, every creak, every smell, every corner where light refused to reach. But the house I grew up in had been keeping secrets, the kind that don't just hide in walls, they breathe behind them. That night, sleep felt impossible. The world outside had gone silent, but inside, everything felt too loud. My father's grandfather clock echoed through the hallway with a rhythm that felt almost deliberate, sharp, steady, endless. I couldn't shake the feeling that the house was listening. I got out of bed and started walking barefoot across cold hardwood. When I passed the clock, something touched my ankle. Not a draft, not a breeze. Something cold and deliberate, creeping up from a place it shouldn't exist. I pulled the clock away from the wall, just an inch. That's when I saw it. A seam in the wallpaper. Not a crack. Not wear and tear. A perfectly cut line forming the edge of something hidden. My fingers found metal underneath. A latch, small and freezing, embedded where no one would ever think to look. Every instinct told me to stop. I didn't listen. The wall groaned as I pulled, and a narrow wooden door swung open, no taller than my shoulder, no wider than a closet. Air poured out, damp, sour, heavy with the weight of something that had been sealed away for decades. I turned on my phone's flashlight. The beam cut into darkness that seemed to swallow light whole. A crawl space stretched ahead, narrow and suffocating, lined with wooden boards that looked hand-cut. My father built this house. He fixed every leak, painted every room, rebuilt the entire porch by himself. And somehow, in all those years, he never mentioned this. I crouched low and stepped inside. Each board complained beneath my weight, groaning like something waking up. Then I heard it. A faint creak from deeper inside, not the house settling. Footsteps, retreating. My breath caught in my throat, but I kept moving. At the end of the crawl space sat a small room with bare concrete walls and a single bulb hanging from the ceiling. I tugged the cord. The light flickered to life, casting everything in a sick yellow glow. In the center of the room sat a rusted metal table with a chair tucked neatly underneath. But it wasn't the table that stopped me cold. It was the corkboard, dozens of photographs pinned in uneven rows. All of them children, some smiling, some caught mid-laugh, some staring blankly at the camera like they didn't know their faces would end up here, in a hidden room, under my father's house. Each photo had a date written on the back in thick black marker. The handwriting was unmistakable. The same hand that wrote birthday cards and grocery lists and notes on the fridge was now labeling photos of missing children. I recognized one of the faces immediately. Lily, the girl who lived down the street when I was 9. She vanished one summer afternoon while riding her bike. The whole neighborhood searched for weeks. My father told me, "Bad things happen sometimes, sweetheart. Some people just go missing." But she hadn't gone missing. She was here. There was an old steel cabinet in the corner, the kind you'd find in a workshop. My hands were shaking as I reached for it. The smell hit first, mildew, iron, and something rotten beneath it all. Inside were small objects lined up like a collection. Tiny shoes, a pink butterfly clip, A pair of cracked glasses, bracelets, children's things. My mind refused to connect the pieces. It had to be something else. Some kind of art project, a memorial, anything but what it looked like. But then I saw the box. A dented metal box sat on the bottom shelf, partially hidden behind a stack of folded cloth. I reached for it. My heel hit a loose board and the box slipped, crashing to the floor. It burst open. Inside was a knife. Old. Pitted. The edge stained dark. Not rust. I knew that color. My pulse started ringing in my ears so loud I almost didn't hear the sound upstairs. A floorboard creaked. Someone was home. He wasn't supposed to be here. He told me he'd be gone for days, visiting an old friend upstate. But those footsteps were deliberate, measured, moving slowly through the house above me. I shoved the drawer closed and backed toward the crawl space. The light flickered once, twice, then died completely. The room fell into absolute black. I crawled through the narrow tunnel, my elbows scraping against rough wood, my chest heaving so hard I thought I'd pass out. I slammed the small door shut and dragged the grandfather clock back into place. The house went quiet again, except for the footsteps overhead. Slow, steady, deliberate. I called the police with shaking hands and told them everything. The hidden door, the photos, the journal, the knife. They told me to stay calm. That help was coming. When the officers arrived, I led them upstairs, my voice barely working. "It's here," I said. "Behind the clock. There's a door." But when they checked, there was nothing. No seam, no latch, just smooth wallpaper. I tore at it with my nails until they bled. I begged them to keep looking. They didn't. They searched the house, found nothing, and left. That night, the silence was unbearable. The refrigerator hummed, the walls groaned, and then tap, tap, tap. It came from behind the clock. I pressed my ear to the wall. "Who's there?" I whispered. The tapping stopped. For a moment, there was nothing. Then one slow, heavy knock. I ran. I grabbed my keys, my phone, whatever I could carry, and I didn't look back. I drove until the sky turned grey behind me. 2 weeks later, I sold the house. I didn't tell the buyers anything. What could I say? That the man who raised me might have been a monster. There were no photos, no proof, just memories that won't die. And sometimes, late at night, I still smell that cold, stale air. I still see those faces when I close my eyes. And if I lie there too long, I hear it. Again. Tap, tap. Like something reminding me it's still there. I used to think monsters lived under the bed. But the older I get, the more I realize sometimes they live just down the hall. Sometimes they tuck you in at night. And sometimes they build rooms behind walls to hide what they've done. And the scariest part? I don't think my father was working alone. My name is Megan. This is the story of what I found inside my aunt's house, the one she left me after she died. She'd always lived alone. Growing up, my family called her odd, polite code for something they never wanted to talk about. My mother changed the subject whenever her name came up. My father just said, "Some people aren't meant to be around others." I never understood why. I'd only been to her house a few times, but I remembered the feeling. A cold heaviness that pressed into your chest the moment you stepped inside. Not fear, just silence that felt aware. When she died, the house became mine. I didn't move in by choice. I'd lost my job, rent was overdue, savings gone. The house was free, empty. I told myself it was a fresh start. Early autumn. A dirt road through overgrown fields, no neighbours, no lights. The house slouched against the horizon, grey, weathered, shutters hanging crooked. not abandoned, just waiting. Inside, the air was stale, thick with dust and a faint metallic smell, rust or old dried blood. Furniture still in place, books stacked everywhere, photos lining the hallway of people I didn't know. My aunt always stood apart from them, her smile never reaching her eyes. The first night was calm. Tea, unpacking, dusk settling over the fields. For the first time in months, the silence felt peaceful. It didn't last. On the second night, while cleaning the kitchen, I noticed a shelf slightly off the wall. I pushed it aside. Behind it was a small grey door, barely waist-high, paint peeling like old skin. No handle, just one keyhole. A cold draft leaked out, smelling of wet earth and rot. I told myself not to touch it, but the longer I stared, the more it felt like the house wanted me to. I found a screwdriver. The hinges groaned as I pried it open. Cold air spilled out. A narrow staircase led down into darkness. My phone flashlight flickered over steps that moaned under my weight. The air grew colder until I could see my breath. At the bottom, packed dirt floors, damp walls held by wooden beams slick with condensation. Jars filled the shelves, cloudy glass, yellow liquid, shapes inside I didn't recognize. Organic. Wrong. Then I saw it. An iron door on the far wall. Black metal, scratched by something that had tried desperately to get out. Long, hand-gouged streaks. I stepped closer. That's when I heard it. A whisper. Soft. Low. Muffled by metal. Again. Then. My name. Drawn out slow, like someone tasting it. I ran. Up the stairs. Through the kitchen. Shoved the shelf back. Pressed against it until my heartbeat stopped shaking the walls inside me. That night, I didn't sleep. At 2:13 a.m., I heard tapping under the floorboards. Slow, deliberate. Then dragging, nails scraping wood. Then the whisper, "Come down." By morning, I convinced myself it was exhaustion, but deep down, I knew the truth. By sunset, I stood before the shelf again, this time with fresh batteries and a crowbar. The air felt colder there, like the house remembered me. The little grey door waited. The stairs groaned beneath me as I descended. The jars glistened in my flashlight beam. The iron door dripped with condensation, the scratches darker than before. I jammed the crowbar in and forced it open. The metal shrieked. Behind it was a hand-dug tunnel, walls of packed dirt laced with roots. My light couldn't find the end. The whisper returned. Closer. "Come down." I walked forward. The tunnel sloped downward until the air tightened and every breath felt colder. Something dripped steadily in the dark. At the end, a small chamber. One wooden chair, black melted candles around it, symbols carved into the dirt, spirals, crooked lines, letters that didn't belong to any language. On the far wall, 3 words scratched deep. "We never left." Whispers swelled. No longer one voice, but many, overlapping, rising until the ground trembled. My flashlight flickered, sputtered, died. Something cold brushed my wrist. Fingers, wet, human. Another hand touched the back of my neck, a hiss at my ear. "Stay." I ran. I don't remember the tunnel or the stairs, only the light exploding around me as I slammed the grey door, shoved the shelf back, and felt something hit the other side. Once. Then silence. The police searched the house for hours. They found nothing. No grey door, no iron door, no tunnel, just smooth walls and concrete. They suggested stress, grief, imagination. I left the same day, didn't pack. That night in a motel, just before dawn, I heard tapping beneath the floor, dragging. Then the whisper, "Come down." I moved 3 towns away. The house sits empty. Buyers keep backing out. No reason, just a feeling. Sometimes I drive past. The windows are dark except one, the kitchen. A light flickers inside, and in the quiet, I still hear the voice. Come down. Whatever is beneath that house never stopped calling. It's still there, waiting.
2 hidden doors, one in the American heartland, one in the Canadian wilderness, 2 lives destroyed by what they found in their North American homes. And the terrifying truth, whether you're in the United States or Canada, your house might be hiding something too. These stories come from real testimonies across North America, unexplained disappearances, hidden rooms and encounters that American and Canadian investigators still can't explain. From the suburbs of the USA to the countryside of Canada, people are finding doors that were never meant to be opened. If this kept you up tonight, you need more true horror from North America. Subscribe to Nightloft right now for daily American horror stories and Canadian mystery narrations that will haunt your dreams. Hit the bell so you never miss real-life encounters from across the United States and Canada. Drop a comment below whether you're watching from the USA, Canada, or anywhere else. Tell me, have you ever found a hidden space in your home? A locked door, a crawl space, something that didn't belong? Share your North American horror story. You're safe here. For exclusive content, early access, and bonus USA and Canada horror stories you won't find anywhere else. Thanks for watching Nightloft, bringing you true terror from across North America, one story at a time. Sleep well, America. Sleep well, Canada, if you still can.